never get tired of this changelog opening.
Hi.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm good. Oh, a lot disappeared.
Yeah, Nathan, I think you can bring him back. You...
Hi.
He's back.
Yeah, that was unintentional, folks. It was really interesting talking to Michael. I think uh, obviously with some changes, but such a similar story to yours. A lot like long career in both Amazon and Microsoft, working.
Well, his was a long career. Mine was like a short stint.
Yeah, compared, but still not
Impressive.
not so short, and working on hardware, working on things that fly, working on dealing with CDK. Yeah, nice, really fun to see the energy. So what do you have for us, Mark?
I have a changelog. Also, I will say it was a good interview. I enjoyed. It's always fun to hear, like when you hear. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but hearing technology that I've heard about for my entire life from like firsthand talking about it is always super cool.
Yeah.
Really, even like Windows Media Center. I love when it jogs memories of like I had like a TV tuner card in one of my computers to like hook up a coaxial to get cable, and I watched TV on my computer through Windows Media Center.
Oh,
that.
nice.
That
Yeah, I
was
remember
fun
they
time.
had like this crazy protocol that they like there was this where you could connect to your PC and grab the media from there or something. Like there was something. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, I guess like you'd have like a capture card so you could record it too. I think I just had one that just straight sent the signal and like I guess digitized it because this might have also been an analog. Oh, it was the coaxial, so it was analog signal. Anyway, good time. I like that was fun. But
I wonder if someday someone's gonna remember watching the Wingly fondly and playing with the Wing.
I mean, I don't know about the. Probably playing with Wing as an early project, ideally. I don't know if they'll watch the Wingly. Who would watch this? I'm just kidding. But hopefully that happens.
Yeah. All right. So what's going on the screen? What am I looking at?
Have we not usually hung on the screen as long? I don't know. Maybe this has like been this has been the changelog screen since I have not changed how this looks. Like the names that cycle through, I have not touched them since created it.
It's very cute. It's very cute. I love it.
Never noticed.
It's a reasonable list of names, I think.
Wingly. Guys, I'm gonna have to say goodbye to you because I have another thing that I have to go to.
Sure.
And my battery's almost over as well, and I don't have a charger here. So I'll just connect from my phone, and can't wait to hear the changelog because it's always really fun. So see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, let's do this then.
Yeah. Let's get to it.
So this will be a relatively short one. I think I think we had multiple maintainers of Wing, either like kind of traveling or on vacation, and also I guess maybe it was a little bit of a break time. I think this was spring break in the U.S. To like so kids are out, maybe not everyone's hanging out. I was also out for at least a week, doing other stuff. So 38 changes, not so many, but we got some big ones in there. I'll cover some.
30 is not that little, and also, you could have spinned it as not too many, like maybe fewer changes, but bigger ones.
Well, I'm as you know, I'm always look on the dark side of life kind of person. So
That's why we love you.
but I am happy about the changes though. And we can start with a few breaking changes. 2, 3.
Yeah,
Um,
bring them on.
First up was, I guess, a sunsetting or a deprecation of the one of our construct or resources in the EX module, which if you're in Wing, you could write bring EX, and it's kind of included. It's kind of like bring cloud was, cloud is a module that's included. EX was an included module, and it's where we kind of shove things that were not part of the core cloud, cloud experience, but we didn't have anywhere else really to put them. This included like Redis as a resource called Redis, and a resource like a DynamoDB resource, or no, I think we just called it.
Yeah,
we called DynamoDB. I didn't know if we called it table because we also had table.
It was table for sure
Okay.
at some point, but yeah,
So maybe I have this one wrong, but in any case, like we had it. There's a couple other ones in there, and over time we eventually got to the winglib concept. So which is really a more appropriate place to put these experimental or otherwise, but they are external. They're like an action, like they can exist on their own as libraries, and they're written, and they can be written in Wing. I guess another distinction here is that the original one is written in TypeScript and just exposed into Wing, but this new one is actually written in Wing, so even better. Anyway, DynamoDB is now is a winglib, and we've removed Chris removed the one in the EX module. The new one, the one in the winglib, already has more features anyway. It's been more actively worked on, so it made sense.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Also, focus-wise, right? Keep the surface area as small as we can, so we don't have to tend to too many things at once.
I think the plan is to get rid of the EX module completely. I believe that's our plan.
That's a good plan. I like it.
Yeah. So thank you, Chris. And Chris has a couple more on here. He has not been on vacation. He's been a busy bee. Couple weeks. Although I had a video here. It just stopped working right before I went live. So sorry for the big empty space. But some may or may not have noticed in VS Code that when the wing button that shows up in the top right, the little wing icon, when you're looking at a Wing file, and you click on it, and it opens up kind of the Wing console experience, but in VS Code. So it has various panels on the sidebar, and that kind of show like your resource list or the tests, and like you can have a main pane open that shows like the Wing console view. And this worked. It was pretty cool, like to not have to open a separate browser, but actually have the same experience in VS Code. So we decided to kind of to nix that for now, and instead focus on the actual Wing console experience, like the browser based experience, and then have that button now only just starts the Wing console like server that you can then look at in the browser. I guess I shouldn't speak too much. Maybe Shai, you can speak better towards this. I assume the purpose was just to not fragment our DX, like improve like our work on this, to not like, because the browser's one thing, and then the VS Code it uses the same internal APIs, but it's a different UI. So that means that as a client, we had to make sure that also works. We can't be breaking it when we're changing things in the back end. And frankly, that's probably a lot of work for a project that still early on, and the browser experience is really our number one anyway.
Yeah, it's another decision that I like, that brings focus. We can spend all of our energy on making the browser version even better, and yeah, that's I think sacrificing the the Visual Studio experience is a good thing to do because it will just make the browser version even better with the same amount of engineering resource.
Yeah, I don't think it takes it off the table to do like we can get back to it. It's not an impossibility, but yeah, it's definitely I agree with the sentiment now as we mature. And so Paul did this. He also implemented the original version of this. So he brought it into the world and he took it out. It's been almost a year. I think we've had it as a feature.
So Paul is basically a god. Like he has the power to bring things into the world and to take them out.
Alrighty. So thank you, Paul, for doing that work of
thank you, Paul.
Life and death for this feature.
And the black screen is actually you could have.
I had so many ideas. Like, how do I represent? I think what broke it is I was trying to do. I had a video of the original PR's like video of the feature with just an X over it. And then I tried to change. I think I broke it, and it was right before I was live. Never a good idea to make changes like that right before.
But it's a good like.
It's nothing now.
Yeah, exactly. It's an appropriate representation.
And I see the comment's not on screen right now, but the comment about what about the Wing VS Code extension? Any plans to introduce a new Wing? There's still a VS Code extension. The extension has not been removed, just to be clear.
Excellent question.
Yeah, because I got confused about that too when the issue was first posted. I was like, oh, wait, what happened? I put a lot of work into that. Don't delete it yet.
Yeah, it's your baby.
Yeah, that's mine. I can kill it if I want to. No one else can kill it. But no, yeah, the extension still exists, and it'll still include maybe bigger interface changes. Not to sidetrack, but like one of the screens that the integration added was like to be able to show your tests. Like the Wing console shows your tests in like a sidebar. This feature added tests as integration, but VS Code has a native Test Explorer, concept, and that's something that I would really like for us to integrate into. If we're not already, we might already actually be integrated into that. But like, there's no reason that can't exist. But like, it's more about like this holistic use Wing console in VS Code. That's what's gone. But all the rest of the features, syntax highlighting, completion, all that stuff, still there.
And we're very happy for that.
Yeah. All right. Next up, back to Chris, who added a new API onto arrays to do slice.
I know it's been like something that people were really asking for. So
yeah, I think the array API is compared to most other standard libraries and other languages, we definitely have a pretty bare bones array API. And yeah, this is one of the ones that's missing and painful. Some of the other ones are much harder, like a much bigger, steeper implementation. Things like the functional type of like map and filter and such. Filter's probably easier anyway, but so slice we now have thanks to Chris. So first argument, it takes two optional arguments. The first argument is like where you're starting your slice, inclusive, and then second argument is where you're ending your slice. I'm looking at my screen. This isn't a mirrored video, is it? Now it looks weird. Anyway, first argument start, end arguments the end, but exclusive. It also supports negative indexes, which is super. Like I love when, or I should say the opposite. I hate when languages don't support negative indexes in array like indexing APIs. It's such a useful feature. So we have that here with Slice as well. You can see some examples on the screen. Super great, super useful.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Next up, last one from Chris that I'll talk about today. just a little smaller one. So the assert global now has a second argument where you can provide a string, and that shows in the error message. Small little thing, but like
Very
probably
useful.
if you're using assert and like which on its own it really doesn't. I mean, it's just a true or false kind of thing. Like it's really useful to be able to add more metadata to what's happening. I mean, I'll point out that we have the if you bring expect, we have an expect module that has a lot more like kind of in-depth assertions, like expect like to equal or like deep strict equal type that that kind of surface. Which those are kind of more self-documented in a sense. Those don't need the extra comment because almost like it's telling you like the assertion itself tells you what it is. But assert as the global function doesn't really. You can kind of put whatever you want, any predicate you want inside of there. So having an extra comment, effectively is a comment that shows up in your errors is super useful. That's that. Thank you, Chris. Alad added a kind of what's gonna like the start of a new series of resources that will exist now. So QRef or aws.qref. Using this resource in your application lets you reference an existing SQSQ and like bring it into like so that your application now has knowledge of it and is able to do things to it, such as lifting it into your in-flight and pushing messages to it or anything on its API. This has kind of been a wall in Wing in terms of like we haven't. I mean, there were kind of ways you could maybe work around this, but like nothing nice, nothing that was really nothing that felt good to use. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. But now we're starting kind of this like trying out QRef. I think there's also function ref now as well for similar for referencing lambdas. And it works both in kind of like you would assume, it works in TF AWS or any platform which compiles to like Terraforms and exists within AWS. That's true, but it also works for the local simulator, meaning you can reference and consume queues that are in SQS from your local simulator, which is kind of a huge, maybe not obvious benefit of how this can work.
Yeah, I think this is really, really huge. I mean, because I think one of the main benefits of Wing, the main things that one of the main pain points that Wing aims to solve is local testing of cloud or serverless applications, and obviously as you scale, sometimes you're not able to put everything to run locally on your simulator. Sometimes you have some data in some bucket that you want to interact with, and you don't want to bring everything locally to your machine. And so being able to kind of have this hybrid situation where part of the system under test, usually the part that you're actually changing, the code that you're actually changing, can run locally on your simulator, but then the rest of the application can be a shared development account. I think it's something that really allows teams to use Wing to solve a big pain of testing bigger serverless applications. And so I think we're going to see more and more of those resource refs, and looking forward to see how people use that.
Yep. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes, like where this, how fast we can move on this. And there was an RFC about this concept, in the leading up to it. So that's there for like kind of reference and reading for anyone that's interested in like the design choices around calling this queue ref and function ref and what bring AWS is, which I don't think I haven't used bring AWS yet. I actually don't know like what where does that fall in the in the realm of like your Wing application. Because then my first thought was like, oh, I don't want to. I'm writing like a simulator, or I might be running like a thing that works in simulator and in AWS. Why am I bringing AWS? It's interesting. But like now it's like you can get this ball rolling and then thinking about how that could be really useful. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting stuff, and I'm sure we're gonna see some more evolution there, and as we figure out the use cases. But yeah, thanks. Thank you, Alad. I see Marchio's writing that there is no audio, no sound. Hopefully, it's just you, Marchio.
I just opened up Twitch and I can hear it in my Twitch window. I opened. Okay.
So
let's keep it going then. Thank you, Alad, for starting off this this grand new train of features, and I think doing RFC as well, if I remember correctly. And never mind, I don't remember. I don't know. Okay, next up, something from Gary. Gary, we all know and love. So I think in the last changelog we talked about an improvement to cron. Was that from Marchio? I think it might have been. But sorry. Anyway, talk about this one. So cron expressions previously in Wing we didn't actually validate them. We didn't they kind of just went through, unless the specific place you're deploying it to. Oh, did Gary do that one? Okay, thank you, Marcio. So the sorry, brain block. Yeah, we didn't actually do any validation. It would get to the point of being deployed, and like the example I put in here, all we did was check to see okay, well, it has the spaces and it has a character, so that's probably good. But this is not a valid cron expression. And it would force you to have to wait a really long time to get the feedback, hey, something's wrong with your cron expression, that this is not valid. But now you can get the same sort of feedback doing a sim compilation.
Actually,
immediately.
If you wrote such an expression, there's something wrong with you, not with your cron expression.
Yeah, I mean the more I guess interesting use case is to prevent you from doing what was it? There was this whole thing about having a question mark for the last part of the cron expression is valid in AWS, but not in a regular Unix-based cron expression. So there are other things. That's not the only thing. There's other kind of validations we could put in place, and also simple typos. But yeah, it's more for those things than this kind of my beautiful example that I thought up. Oh man, what a coincidence! Hello fits in.
Yeah, no,
the same characters.
It is beautiful.
So yeah, thank you to Gary for adding that validation. Another step in the even though this would have failed when deploying to AWS, faster feedback. There's works locally and works in the cloud as a facet of our goals here. That's of course super important, but also shifting errors left in general is more important. So the more left, the better. In this case, the faster you see these compilation errors, the faster you can fix them and get the feedback loop we want to make as tight as possible. Yep. This is always a good improvement when we can do it. Sometimes we can't, but this is the case where we could.
Nice.
So thank you to Gary for that. And this is the last one. So platform parameters are king of platforms. Hassan did another improvement along the road to platform perfection. So technically, like I talked about in the last changelog, I think, where now we're kind of the platform parameters are further getting extended in usability, and we have libraries can now expose like platform parameters that users can then enter in through environment variables or through the Wing toml, which the first one is an example of like a configuration file. And then in the application, the platform can use this information to do stuff, to change behaviors, change how resources are provisioned or customized or anything, like really anything. But one thing that wasn't really exposed, it technically was. Technically, this information was available in Wing, like you could get it, but it wasn't really meant for public consumption. I would say, even if the information was there. So now, at the app level, which I'm realizing now, I think don't we have a different syntax for getting the app? Maybe I'm misremembering. Anyway, node of this, like getting the current node of this resource tree that a Wing application builds, getting the root level application that has the parameters object. These are the parameters that are provided by the user for the current like compilation, and you can get these and you can read these in a type safe way. You can map it to like a struct that represents the data. Verify that for you. And now you have it. And you can do the same sort of controls that you would do in a platform, but in Wing. Instead, you can do your own kind of customizations at a more user-facing level rather than deep in the platform code. Or eventually, I presume, when we implement platforms in Wing, which I think we want to do at some point as well.
Yeah,
this is the building block to that. I assume. Yeah. I think a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, so maybe not too many items on the changelog today, but yeah, like very things that touch the core of the value that we try to bring.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks Chris and Gary and Hassan and Elad.
Thank you to all, and I'll stop sharing there. We actually made it in time. Isn't this when the show's? We're actually still over time, right?
A bit over time, but yeah, watch and learn. I mean, we're getting as close as possible. So all right, thank you so much, Mark, for being such a pivotal part of the show. And thanks everyone for watching. And I think we're done. I don't have permissions to end the stream, but you can do your thing. Wait, we have a question, Ayush. Will Wing be compatible with other cloud services like IBM Cloud, etc. in the future? So the answer is Wing is fully extensible. It will be compatible with whatever the community adds compatibility for. Same as Marcio added support for CloudFormation as a provisioning engine. Anyone can also add support for new cloud providers.
It's worth noting that any Terraform, with varying levels of difficulty, I would say, can be used in Wing. So right now, you can actually provision in any cloud that has Terraform provider support. And most easily, if there's a CDKTF library for it, that would be the best option. But there's a route to take from a Terraform module to Wing. Like there is a route there. It's not an easy one. Something I think we want to work on very soon to kind of make that an easier process. But it is technically doable right now.
Yeah, we never promised to make things easy. Or actually,
eventually we will.
We never promised to do it now.
That's true.
But we did say that we're better with timing than Eyal, so we're gonna say goodbye for real now.
Yep.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna pop in here and say goodbye to everyone, and we're gonna cut it loose.
All right.
Right.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Nate.